Yeah.
Yeah. Now let's talk positive. Jennifer Lee Chan, who is incredible, she
Incredible.
put out the first and second offensive line rotations, which I thought
Yes,
was
she
interesting.
did.
Because again, Mike McGlinchey, who we got some positive news from, they fully expect him back, even though he wasn't out there. Daniel Brunskill dealing with some knee tendonitis.
You expect him back too?
Trent Williams he was a no-show. He wasn't there, but where he's at, he doesn't need to be at voluntary camp. So this was one of the things you and I talked about a week ago before I went on my trip about I want to see the rotation at center.
You got it.
It's weird. So here's the starting offensive group for today. It's only the second day of OTAs, left to right. So starting at left tackle, Colton McKivitz, left tackle, Aaron Banks, left guard, Brendo at center, Jaylen Moore at right guard, and then Justin School, who's back 100% healthy, at right tackle. That was the
That's
first
good to
unit.
hear. That's good to hear because I was concerned. I don't know if you were concerned about Justin School's health because he was coming off of the injury as well. So I was a little bit concerned. I actually like that first unit. If that has to be like, just think about it. If that's the first unit that's going to grow together right now, that means that they're going to be really good depth, right? That's how I'm looking at it because I know when Trent comes back, he's back in that left tackle. But if anything, if he had to miss a game, you should be comfortable with Colton McKivitz, right? Right?
Yeah.
We saw it. We saw it last year. On the playoff run, like against the Rams. We've seen it. Like, you know what I mean? And so, unfortunately, Trent wasn't as healthy. I mean, he looked good in Dallas, but I mean, it caught up to him in that Rams game. You know what I'm saying? And so, the playoff one. But no, this is good. Jake Brendo.
You remember they cut him for the initial 53, and then when they put Givens, I think it was Givens or Marcel Harris, not Marcel. One of those guys went on, injured reserve. Then they brought Jake Brendo back.
Yeah,
remember? And so he was like the last one, number 54, and now he's getting those spots.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. We could do 55, but doesn't one of them have to be a lineman? And
you can only do 53 to keep. But then you get a pull 2 up. One of them has to be an offensive lineman.
Okay.
And another position.
Okay.
That's just kind of the way it goes.
So you have to have a 53-man roster. Right. And then when you do your games, you can pull 2 people up. And one has to be a line. There we go. Just want to get clarification on that.
Yeah. And so that was the first one. Now, if this is our starting 5, you have to understand Trent Williams ain't out there. No. Brunskill's not out there.
No.
McGlinchey's not out there.
No.
And on top of that, guess what? There's still another one out there, Alex Mack.
Yeah.
I mean, this is, for all intents and purposes, basically our second offensive line group currently. Jaylen Moore at, guard there. But then you look at the second group. Okay. Now let's look at the second rotation.
Okay.
Here, Sam Schletter, he was the left tackle.
Yep.
Nick Zakil was at left guard, not center. He didn't get snaps at center.
Okay. Who got snaps at the second center? West?
Keaton Sutherland.
I forgot about Keaton Sutherland.
Yeah. Keaton Sutherland got that. Spencer Burford got right guard snaps.
He got the right guard.
And Jaylen Moore was pulling double duty because he was right guard with the 1s and right tackle with the 2s.
Now, let me ask you this. Keaton Sutherland is a vet. Do you think only because of his veteranship, he got the second unit snaps over Donovan West? Or do you think Donovan West is that much of a project?
Yeah, I don't know the answer to that, but I do know he's an undrafted free agent. And so that kind of tells me, I mean, I don't see him as a potential option this year. I don't see him or Poe, who were not in either one of these first or second strings. They're long-term developmental guys.
Yep.
Now, Nick Zakil, I was very surprised he wasn't taking center snaps. Which again, the number one thing I keep taking away from this, Alex Mack is coming back.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Alex Mack's coming back.
What did David Lombardi put up? Oh, he forfeited $100K in his workout bonus. It's $100K. I don't think he cares.
No, he doesn't care.
It's $100K. Dude's still on his honeymoon at this point. It's not the way I look at it. And so I'm with you. I'm with you, John. But this is what I'm trying to say. I don't know if I'm saying it clearly. Today's starting unit is typically the backup unit, right? But this is also the unit, John, that Trey Lance has been most comfortable with, the unit he's been growing with. Like, you understand? Because Trey Lance was also on the second unit, right? So this is actually good for the second unit just to have that cohesiveness. If Trey, and I mean, I know there's no pads, right? I know there's not any hitting, but damn, he went 15 for 17. The offensive line must do something really well to pass protect to get him, to get the ball out in 11 on 11s.
Yeah, I think you're right there. And, again, I think Daniel Brunskill would be that center if let's say Alex Mack's out. I think he would be that guy, but he's dealing with knee tendonitis, so that's kind of where that is. But yeah, I think the things to take away, guard is going to be a freaking brutal fight.
I'm excited.
And Banks, he's in there. They're giving him the opportunity ahead of everybody else, and I think even by putting Spencer Burford on the right side and Nick Zakill on the left side, even more buffer for Banks, because I think Zakill, even though I like his ceiling a lot more, I think he's too raw. I don't see him getting meaningful playing time this year. That's a long-term development guy, but that's just, I could be wrong there. I like him a lot, but he's going to take some time.
Yeah, very, very smart guy, very intelligent guy. Doesn't mean he can't go out there and learn the game, but he also played at Fordham and didn't play against some of the top defensive pass rushers. So it might look a little different when he comes out here into the NFL level. So I can see him being a developmental guy, but that doesn't mean he can't get it right. But the 49ers draft years in advance now. So I don't know. They've gotten to the point to where they're going to draft guys that they can develop and be ready years 2 and 3. Look at Colton McKivitz. Colton McKivitz was drafted in the 5th round and nobody was like, who the hell is this? No one knew who he was. And then he came on this team and we still didn't know who he was. Then last year, he comes out of nowhere, starts week 18, and we're like, oh, snap. Yes.
Over Jaylen Moore.
Over Jaylen Moore. The guy that got more reps at the spot during the regular season.